And our first guest is Jim Long. He's an author, director, archaeology, and Torah enthusiast, and he has worked on a very interesting project, and we're very happy to have him here talking about the riddle of the Exodus. Hello and welcome to the show, Jim.
Emily, thank you for having me.
Of course. So tell us, I know you love coming to Israel. Why are you here this particular time?
I'm here, first of all, because I got here as quickly as I could after they lifted the sanctions, because I love Israel. I come here every year, and I came because we're involved in a project down at Qumran. We're digging tunnels, man-made tunnels. I can't disclose the location yet, but we don't know the antiquity yet. We have some idea. I'm also involved with producing two films that my company hopes to shoot here. One's about the Neely spies, if you've heard of them. And the other thing is, of course, is my rabbi and I have a company that he started, an organization called Jerusalem Lights. I'm his co-producer and co-host. That's on every week. And my documentary that we're talking about today is available on Jerusalem Lights.
For
so
free?
If anybody wants, yes, for free. I decided to make it free because I love this narrative. I love this search for who is the Pharaoh of the Exodus, when did it happen, that kind of thing.
So when did it happen, in your opinion?
Well,
from your research? The one thing is, you know, opinions are like noses. Everyone has one, and no one could agree.
Exactly. You know, the old joke, kind of a twist on an old joke is if you get 4 archaeologists around a find that's just been unearthed, you'll get 5 opinions because it's very much in the realm of opinion. I lean towards everything that is, for want of a better word, Torah-centric, because we know about the Exodus from the Torah. That's our first source. But what people don't realize is there are other ancient Jewish sources that point us to and open up this narrative so we can find when and who were the people involved. I want to first tell your audience that they need to open up their Bible and look in Joshua 10:13 and in 2 Samuel 1:18, and you'll find a book mentioned that's not in the Bible. It's called Sefer HaYashar. It means the straight book. And it takes the events of the Torah and puts them in chronological order. It's an endorsement from the Bible itself. It says, have you not read this in Sefer HaYashar? So I went to this book. It was first translated into English in the 1840s by a Jewish scholar and our first ambassador from the U.S. to the Middle East. His name was Mordecai Noach. And by the way, he later became, in the 1800s, he later became a Zionist, an early Zionist. But anyway, in his book, he mentions that the Pharaoh who oppressed the children of Israel sat on the throne of Egypt for 94 years, an amazing time. Not lived, he sat on the throne for 94 years. And the Sefer HaYashar, and other sources, by the way, like Mam Loez, an 18-volume commentary, says that he sat on the throne of Egypt for 94 years. He was called Melul. And he was the one that heavily oppressed Israel, put them into harsh bondage. And then when he died, his son took over. He was called, in this Jewish source, Adikam Achuz, which basically, this is what the Jews called him because they always had to maintain their sense of humor. So his name roughly translates to short, fat, ugly guy.
Oh, gosh. Wow.
So we look at these and we go, can we find anyone like this in the Egyptian sources? So we look to the Turin Papyrus, the Abydos list, the Palermo stone, and these two figures we can find. We find 2 pharaohs that match, because there's a pharaoh. The pharaohs had 5 names. There's a pharaoh on all these lists who's famous for one thing. He ruled Egypt longer than any pharaoh in Egyptian history. He ruled it for 94 years.
And which pharaoh is this, according to the names we've learned in history?
This pharaoh is called variously Neferkare Pheops. He's called Pepi II. His son is called Neferkare the Younger. So you can go to the Cairo Museum. You can see a statue of this Pepi. By the way, the vowels are guesses, because when you study hieroglyphs, there are no vowels.
Right.
So academics have to fill them in. So his name could be Puppy or Poopy. We don't know.
We really don't know. So, but when was this? So when do we think Moses lived?
All right. According to my research, I go by a source called Seder HaOlam, which is the ancient Jewish chronology that's been kept for centuries. It's unique in one respect as a chronology for the Jewish people. There are no gaps in it. And we know exactly when Israel became a nation. we know the year, 2448 from Adam, or 1312 BCE. And we know also from the same chronology that Israel, the children of Israel, did not spend 400 years in Egypt. They spent 210 years. And that does not contradict the Torah at all.
Well, Jim, this is so interesting. We need to have you come back. When you get back to Israel, we're gonna spend more time together.
Be glad to be
Amazing.
here.
Keep up the good work, and thank you for championing getting the information and the truth out in the best way possible.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we're going to take a short break. Please don't go anywhere. We have more coming up on Holy Land Uncovered.